Hare Krishna. We continue reading from teachings of Queen Kunti. We have been reading the prayer number 18, Liberation from Ignorance and Suffering. It's in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 35. I'll read the translation. And yet others say that you appear to rejuvenate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned souls suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. So Kunti Maharani is praying to Krishna that she said, some say you came because Vasudev Devaki prayed to you, some say you came to relieve the earth of the burdens, and some say that you came to re-establish principles of religion, which is devotional service, which begins by hearing and chanting, remembering, worshipping. And why? Why? So that we, the conditioned souls, we are suffering here in the material world. You see, the miseries come like rains. It's like pouring. But by this devotional service, what we could do, we can go back home, back to Godhead, get liberation, might take advantage and gain liberation. By engaging in devotional service, we can, while we are here in the material world, be protected from the miseries. Not that the miseries won't come, they will come, but we will be able to face them in a more Krishna conscious way. And at the end of life, we can go back home, back to Godhead. So we'll continue reading from the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I have seen that in Calcutta in Chaurangi Square, there is a statue of Sri Ashutosh Mukherjee. Throughout the year, the crows pass stool on his face and the stool becomes caked on. So on one day a year, the ordinary sweepers cleanse the statue with a brush in the morning, and in the evening, some big men come and garland him with flowers. Then, after that evening, they go away, and again, the next morning, the crows come to pass stool on his face. So this kind of worship is accepted, sweeping the face of Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee with the municipal brush. But if we install the deity of Krishna and worship him nicely, people will say that this is idol worship. But Prabhupada was trying to explain that deity worship is not idol worship. It helps us fix the mind on Krishna. It helps us remember Krishna. It helps us get purified. So he's saying that there is some statue of Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, and that's being whole year around. The crows are coming and passing stool on it. And once a year, the statue is being glorified, put garland on. But then the whole year around, what's happening? The crows are again passing stool, and people are accepting this kind. But they're criticizing, oh, why you're worshipping the deity in the temple. So people are embarrassed by being entangled in avidya, ignorance, and the method by which to educate them and rescue them from the clutches of this ignorance is devotional service. So why do we behave in ignorance? Because we don't have knowledge. Because we don't have knowledge, we are in ignorance. Now, how can we get out of this material world? By devotional service. By devotional service, by hearing from the scriptures, we are getting transcendental knowledge. Our ignorance is being reduced. The more we get knowledge, to that degree our ignorance is reduced. As explained by Sukadev Goswami, one may chant the name of Krishna or meditate upon Krishna, and if one cannot meditate, one may simply sit down and see Krishna. Even a child can see, here is Krishna, here is Radharani. Even a small child or even an animal can do this and benefit. Or if one is more intelligent, one may offer prayers. And if one is expert and has been trained by a spiritual master, one may perform appropriate worship. So Prabhupada is trying to say that how devotional service is beneficial to everyone. Like a child, a small child, he's not able to engage in anything else, but he's just simply seeing Radha and Krishna. And that is devotional service for him. So he's getting the benefit. He's getting the benefit. Prabhupada would say the children, they don't know anything. They're simply dancing in the kirtan. And this is how, this is devotional service. They're progressing in their spiritual life. So devotional service is all inclusive. All inclusive. Everyone can perform. Anyone can perform. That's why it's most auspicious. Most auspicious. Even animal. Prabhupada is saying even an animal can benefit by devotional service. Give an animal some prasad. So he can make progress also. You know. So Christians and Muslims are also Vaishnavas, devotees, because they offer praise to the Lord. Oh God, they say, give us our daily bread. Those who offer this prayer may not know very much and may be at a lower stage, but this is a beginning because they have approached God. So Prabhupada is saying Christians and Muslims are also Vaishnavas because they are praying to God. They're coming to the door of God. You know, they might not know much about God. That's okay, but at least they have come to God, trying to understand, yes, I'm not God. There is a difference between God and me. God is my protector. He's the one who's maintaining me. So at least this is the beginning. So this is very good. Going to a church or a mosque is also pious. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukriti no Arjuna. Therefore, those who begin in this way will one day become pure Vaishnavas. But the atheistic propaganda that one should not go to a church, temple, or mosque is very dangerous to human society. So, because Krishna says that 4 kinds of people, pious people, come to me, O Arjun. He says in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritano Arjuna. So going to the door of God, mosque, temple, or church is very good. One day, they will become pure devotees because coming to God, coming, understanding, oh yes, there is God, approaching God, oh yes, there is God. It may be a lower understanding. People may not understand how great is God or more details about God, but at least they have come to God. You know, it's so good. Their devotional service is started. One day they will become pure devotees, much better than saying, oh, there is no God, which is very dangerous, or that you should not go to the temple or to the mosque or to the church. That is dangerous. That is taking away, that is taking us away from God. That is dangerous to human society. All the what do we say? All the imbalances that we find in society now, all the imbalance is because we have left God behind. You know, our consciousness is so turned away, so far away from God. That's the reason we are creating more and more problems for ourselves, which is evident in current society. So one may not be very advanced, but one should try at least to do something to understand God. A child is sent to school, and although he may simply learn ABCD, if he's interested, he may one day become a very good scholar. Similarly, one day a pious man may become a pure devotee. Why should one give up religion altogether, become completely secular, and simply open a factory in which to manufacture nuts and bolts and work very hard and drink and eat meat? What kind of civilization is this? It is because of this so-called civilization that people are suffering. So at least trying to understand something about God, that is the beginning. That is the beginning, and that should be encouraged. It should be encouraged. God is not for one person. God is not secular. You know, God is not for a particular society only, or a particular country, or a particular species. No, God is for everyone. Everyone. It is by ignorance that people think that by opening factories, they will be happy. Why should they open factories? There's no need. There's so much land, and one can produce one's own food grains and eat sumptuously without any factory. Milk is also available without a factory. The factory cannot produce milk or grains. The present scarcity of food in the world is largely due to such factories. When everyone is working in the city to produce nuts and bolts, who will produce food grains? Simple living and high thinking is the solution to economic problems. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is engaging devotees in producing their own food and living self-sufficiently, so that rascals may see how one can live very peacefully, eat the food grains one has grown oneself, drink milk, and chant Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada is saying, instead of having this artificial civilization of stressful lives and working so hard just to be able to maintain ourselves in the body, rather take up simple living, the natural way of life, live off the land, and chant Hare Krishna. It seems kind of like a fantasy right now. We who live in cities, work with factories. It's like, oh wow, how is it even possible? But there are many farm communities. Devotees are living on the farms. They are producing food. They are living off the land, and they are having this simple living, and they are doing very well. Some of the communities are doing very well, but like for people like us who are even not able to go there, it's okay. Wherever we are, just chant Hare Krishna. Just chant Hare Krishna, and gradually, our consciousness will change. We might say, oh, but I can't go live on a land. I don't know how to do farming. It's such a tough life. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Stay where we are. That's what Lord Caitanya said. Stay wherever you are. You just hear and chant. By hearing and chanting, gradually, our desires will change. Our consciousness will be purified. As we were just reading in the earlier today in Bhagavatam, it's the mind that creates and which accepts and rejects. Oh, this situation is very good for me for enjoyment. So the mind says, yes, very good. Let me work to keep this situation. And then, oh, this situation is very bad. I'm going to not enjoy in this situation. So, okay, yes. Let me work very hard to avoid this situation. That's the mind. It keeps us busy the whole life like that. But when we hear and chant, gradually hearing and chanting more and more, gradually the desires will change. The mind will change. The process of Krishna consciousness should be very vigorously propagated all over the world, simply by seeing the deity or simply by joining in chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. People will derive tremendous benefit. If one performs kirtan, chanting one will be able to think of Krishna. One may think, I danced for 2 hours and chanted Hare Krishna. What is the meaning of this? This is smarana, thinking of Krishna. One may even think, I foolishly chanted Krishna for 2 hours. But that also is smarana, because the Krishna consciousness movement is spreading. People are purchasing our books about Krishna because they're curious. They say, what is this Krishna? Let us see the book. Then they immediately see a picture of Radha and Krishna. And if they open the book, they will see more. In the book, there are many prayers glorifying Krishna. So some will hear about Krishna and others will read. And if they're fortunate enough, they will become Krishna conscious and engage in the worship of the deity. These methods of devotional service, hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, and so on, are so perfect that as soon as one takes to them, either all of them, some of them, or even one of them, one becomes purified. Therefore, Sukadev Goswami offers, I offer my worship to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for simply by remembering him, simply by glorifying him, or simply by seeing him, so many benefits follow. So devotional service begins by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, deity worship. So Prabhupada is saying, one may think, oh, I wasted so much time, 2 hours, I was just doing kirtan, or I was chanting, I wasted so much time. But this is not waste of time. This is going to bring us to Krishna consciousness, our original eternal position. This will purify our consciousness. This is eternal, to our eternal benefit. How much ever time we engage in hearing and chanting about Krishna, That's to our eternal benefit. It's gradually we are walking back home, back to Godhead. We are taking our journey. We are, like on the path, going back home, back to Godhead. Sukadev Goswami is one of 12 important spiritual authorities, and these are the authorities we must follow. Mahajano yena gatasa pantha. He affirms that by performing these methods of devotional service, one will be cleansed of material contamination. When? Sadhya, immediately, without waiting. This is the great benefit of the Krishna consciousness movement. So what happens is the benefit of yoga we can get only when we reach up to the perfection, up to samadhi, fixing the lotus feet, fixing our mind on the lotus feet. So we do the entire process, and then only we'll get the fruit. But what about bhakti? Immediately we get the fruit. Immediately. We hear about Krishna, get immediate benefit. We chant about Krishna, immediate benefit, because it's Krishna himself. It's Krishna himself. It's like when we drink water, then our thirst is quenched. When we eat food, we get nourished, we feel satisfied, we get stronger, healthier. Same. Immediately we start hearing and chanting, we get the benefit. So we don't need to wait. We don't need to wait. Immediately our purification starts. Then, of course, the more we hear and more we chant, more we remember Krishna, it will be more and more and more. And one day, we'll be completely purified, completely situated in our original Krishna consciousness. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Any comments or anything to add? No, then we'll stop here for today. Kunti Maharani ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.